This is the AMF, Canada Post Air Mail Facility. Many of the processes dispatchers perform here are unique to this section. The following instructional video was designed to introduce you to the AMF workflow and prepare you to learn the specialized skills you will need to be a productive member of our team.
Every day, dozens of flights touch down in Toronto, bringing passengers, cargo, and mail from around the world. But how does that mail get to Canada Post? The answer is the cargo yard dispatcher. This is the cargo yard of the Pearson International Airport. And this is Canada Post's airmail facility. In this video, we're going to introduce you to one of the most challenging and vital responsibilities in the AMF, the yard duties. The dispatcher assigned to the cargo yard is tasked with bringing in and taking out conveyances of international mail, staging them to be offloaded and sorted. So without further ado, let's get started. Operation of a tow tractor is at the core of the cargo yard dispatcher's duties. Our primary tow tractors are called Motrex, so we tend to use the terms interchangeably. This is the uncovered Motrec, the most commonly used tow tractor. Not much to look at, but it's a capable vehicle with a hefty towing capacity. It has a hitch or hook for towing. Walk controls on the back left allow the operator to make small adjustments from alongside the vehicle. The yellow model on the left is the covered Motrec. The white model on the right is the diesel tractor. The yellow covered Motrec is the open Motrec's big brother, with an even greater towing capacity, but also an enclosed and heated cabin for inclement weather. It has the same walk controls on the back left as the open Motrec. The white diesel tractor, on the other hand, is meant specifically for dealing with ice and snow. It also has an enclosed heated cabin and oversized tires with chains to ensure traction in the worst winter conditions. As with all MMHE, a vehicle inspection or circle check must be performed before operating a Motrec or tow tractor. Ensure that you have the appropriate PPE before you start. We begin with the battery. Remember to check the 5 C's: cables, caps, connectors, covers, and corrosion. Inspect the cables and connector plugs for damage or exposed wire. By twisting off a few battery caps, we can confirm there is enough water for the battery to function properly. Water should fully cover the perforated battery plate. This battery is dry and needs to be filled. Once you've confirmed the state of the battery, ensure that the cover is closed and secured. The general sequence of inspection is battery check, the visual check or walk around, then checking the brakes and steering. Time to do a walk around the vehicle. Inspect the wheels and tires for excessive wear and tear. This is also a good time to scan the ground underneath the Motrec for leaks. Ensure the vehicle has no major structural damage or loose parts. Make sure the hitch is functioning properly. With the uncovered Motrec, you can also check if the pulley is attached to the hitch and functioning. Check the adjustment handles on the steering column so you can tilt or extend the steering wheel to a comfortable driving position. Turn the ignition on briefly to note the battery charge level and hour meter readings, then switch off. Be sure to put the seatbelt on before operating the Motrec, and always stay buckled up unless the vehicle is at a complete stop and the parking brake is engaged. Now turn the ignition to do a quick driving test of the tow tractor. Roll forward and back a short distance to test the brakes. Putting the Motrec in reverse should activate the annunciator and emit the characteristic backup warning sound. Turn the wheel in both directions to confirm the steering is working properly. Check that the parking brake and emergency stop engage and disengage. By engaging the parking brake and attempting to drive, we can confirm that it is functioning properly. The e-stop should cut power to the vehicle immediately when pressed. Confirm that the driving, safety, and signal lights are working. Make sure that the horn is sounding properly, as it is an essential safety feature. AMF Motrex have walk controls located on the back left corner of the vehicle. These walk controls allow the operator to make small adjustments while outside the Motrec connecting to conveyances. To use the walk controls, the Motrec must be left in neutral with the parking brake disengaged. Using this special function should be the only time an operator removes their seatbelt without the parking brake being employed. Pressing the middle power button and the reverse button simultaneously will jog the machine backwards a small distance. Pressing the middle power button and the forward button simultaneously jogs the machine forward slightly. For safety, the walk controls should not activate unless both the power and direction are pressed down at the same time. Finally, check that the operating manual is present, and note the capacity of the Motrec on your MMHE checklist. The circle check is now complete, and we're ready to roll. The primary occupation of the cargo yard dispatcher is bringing conveyances of mail into and out of the AMF for processing. As you will see here, the cargo yard can become crowded with all manner and size of conveyances, collectively known as ULDs, or unit load devices. ULDs are designed to fit neatly in cargo holds of plane and are mounted on towable cargo pallets, or dollies as we call them, which can be connected to form chains or strings that are transported together. If possible, try not to pass between strings of mail. However, sometimes the cargo yard dispatcher will need to drive or walk between strings to assess, connect, or disconnect carts and cans. Exercise extreme caution. Try to be as audible and visible as you can. Be mindful that pedestrians such as ground handlers or supervisors may also easily be obscured, especially when the cargo yard is busy.
When packaging, parts, or other items come loose from carts and cans, it is referred to as foreign object debris, or FOD. While it may appear innocuous, foreign object debris can pose a serious hazard to aircraft, ground crews, and their loading equipment. Dispatchers should take care to remove FOD immediately and dispose of it appropriately.
Let's introduce you to the ULDs we receive regularly. First up is the LD3, or air can as it's typically referred to. It is the most common ULD, and it can be identified by its AKE designation. This is a covered baggage trailer. There are also uncovered baggage trailers. Both are usually just called carts. This is a general purpose flatbed pallet called a PMC. This is an inline double dolly of air cans. We simply refer to it as a double dolly. This is an LD8 container, or DQF. This is an LD9 container we call an AMP after its designation code. Sometimes we receive an LD345, a half-sized air can that we call an AKH. This towering air can is an M1H, but we usually just call it an AMJ. Let's see how a Motrec is connected to a dolly. The driver backs the Motrec, lining the hitch up with the tow bar of the dolly they wish to connect to. Placing the vehicle in neutral will allow them to use the walk controls to nudge the Motrec back while manually lifting the hitch to secure the tow bar. The dolly is now ready to be towed. To disconnect from a dolly, bring the Motrec to a complete stop, pull the hitch up to disengage from the tow bar, and inch forward, leaving the load behind. Engage the parking brake on the vehicle, and be sure to engage the brake on the dolly before leaving the area. The distance between conveyances is often too small or awkward to use a Motrec to connect them. In this case, the cargo yard dispatcher may have to connect them manually. Avoid doing this alone. Calling for assistance is much easier and safer. Here we see a typical sequence bringing a string of mail into the AMF to be staged on the work floor. Once the entire string has entered the building, A dispatcher on foot can assist by disconnecting the double dolly from the rest so it can be set up for sortation.
Okay.
Afterwards, the cargo yard dispatcher can return and bring the rest of the string to the work floor.
A little more. Little more. Okay.
Some air cans arrive containing only EMS mail. These can be identified by their attached EMS manifest and are often capped with a special red top plastic wrap. EMS air cans can be offloaded and sent directly to the adjacent Vista facility for processing. You'll need some help to do this. The air can needs to be loaded onto a forklift-compatible red dolly. After picking up the red dolly with the forklift, it is aligned to the air can and tilted back slightly to allow the can to slide on easily. A dispatcher on foot can release the restraint. And by pulling the attached air can straps, it should roll easily onto the dolly.
Backing up.
The driver tilts the forks all the way back and reverses just enough to allow the dispatchers to secure both air can restraints on the dolly.
Okay, Catherine. Unclear.
The driver should not move until the dispatchers indicate they are clear. The EMS air can is now ready to go. Similarly, we may receive an air can on a double dolly with its door facing the wrong way. Unless it is turned around, there is no safe way to access the contents. In this case, the forklift must again be used to offload the air can, only this time to be reloaded onto the dolly facing the right way. A dispatcher on foot will put down the air can restraints and step back a safe distance, acting as a spotter. The forklift operator picks the can off the dolly and carefully maneuvers it around to face the other direction. After aligning the air can to the dolly, the spotter will re-engage the outer restraint.
Hey, Mike. Great traffic, lights out.
This allows the forklift operator to place the air can on the dolly and have the restraint secure it in place while they back up and withdraw the forks. Now the air can is accessible for sortation. What goes up must come down, as they say, while in the AMF, that which comes in must go out. Keeping a steady flow of incoming and outgoing containers is something that takes experience, but we can at least teach you the basics. After a string of mail has been processed and its contents sorted, the cargo yard dispatcher will hook up their Motrec to tow it back to the yard. Although it may appear jumbled at times, every string has a specific staging area in the yard, depending on which ground handlers it belongs to. Once a string of cans or carts has been returned to its designated area, the cargo yard dispatcher should always secure it in place by engaging the tow bar into the brake position. A reference map of the cargo yard staging areas is posted on the inside of the main doors. In addition, it has a chart detailing which conveyances belong to which ground handlers. If you're ever in doubt where something should go, this is a handy guide. Let's have a better look at the cargo yard. On the left side of the AMF, the right side of the screen as we're looking now, is the staging areas for conveyances belonging to Swissport, AGI, and the Air Canada ground handlers. Directly in front of the AMF, moving left to right alongside the drive lane, are staging areas for American Airlines, CAS, GTA Donata, and Menzies. To the far right of the main doors, in a protected hutch appearing on the left of your screen, is the MRD, or mail registration device, that ground handlers use to track their deliveries. The large area in front of it, adjacent to the AMF, is for staging incoming mail. It can get busy, so it's best to keep the yard tidy and organized. It is especially important to keep the drive lanes free of obstruction to allow safe passage for ground handlers, emergency vehicles, and security personnel. One of the best ways to do so is making sure you connect smaller strings and loose conveyances into bigger strings, as demonstrated here.
Hey, Mike, just about right there.
Single lightweight conveyances, like this open cart, can be moved a short distance manually if necessary. Do not attempt this by yourself with a full cart or heavier conveyances. Here we see a dispatcher trying to do the right thing in the wrong way. Unless you are using the walk controls to connect to a string, you should never leave a Motrex without engaging the parking brake. It is a heavy vehicle that can be exceedingly dangerous if left to roll. Always engage the parking brake before leaving the machine or easing off the controls. And always wear your seatbelt. Stay in communication with the team and your supervisors. Keeping everyone on the same page is better for productivity as well as for safety.
That today is Tuesday, so we'll be using the cardboard monos.
This is Canada, eh? We're going to get some winter. And at the AMF, bad weather is something we have to take on directly. Be cautious with your footing in the snow, especially exiting your vehicle. Do your best to coordinate with snowplow crews to clear the yard. Be sure to use the winterized tuggers whenever there's ice and snow, and employ a spotter whenever necessary. Rain and snow follow strings of mail into the AMF, and the floor can quickly become wet and slick. Whenever you encounter these conditions, take special care to lower your speed, accelerate and decelerate gradually, and turn as smoothly as possible. Long strings in particular are susceptible to drifting out of line when accelerating through turns. This dangerous and sometimes violent swing is called tail whip and should be avoided at all costs. Here's why. It only takes a moment's distraction or bad judgment to result in serious damage to equipment or jeopardy to you and your coworkers. A tow tractor is a powerful, multi-ton machine with the momentum of massive conveyances that weigh hundreds to thousands of kilos. One of the most common mistakes is referred to as jackknifing. This occurs when an operator makes too tight a turn, causing trailing dollies to pinch and lock or slam into each other. Tight turns can also cause a string to catch on the inside corner. All these cases could have been mitigated either by taking a wider turn angle or disconnecting larger loads and turning them one at a time. Here's another common mistake. Failure to engage a tow bar brake can result in a runaway cart. Remember to ensure all the restraints on a cargo pallet or dolly are engaged. Momentum and wind can both easily overturn an air can that is not secured.
In this video, we've introduced you to the AMF yard duties. We've had a look at the basics of operating a tow tractor, how to connect and disconnect from various conveyances, and how to stage them for offload. We've given you an overview of the cargo yard itself, as well as some of the best practices and potential hazards. We hope this has been informative. Thanks for watching. To maintain a
Never thought that I'd find that the one in my life would be so near. Now you're here. I got you.